Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel or welcome back. Today I'm going to be recommending 10 science fiction novels based on specific tropes. Science fiction is such a broad genre with so many different elements and there's so many different types of stories that can be considered sci-fi. I thought it would be fun to recommend some of my favorite books based on specific sci-fi tropes. Before we go ahead and get on into the book recommendations, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as giving this video a like to throw my channel a little bit of support. The first trope is to recommend a sci-fi book that is in a virtual reality world or a simulation. I'm going to go with Warcross by Marie Lu. In Warcross, we are following 18-year-old Amika, and she is a bounty hunter. She goes around arresting people who have been betting on the world's largest internet game known as Warcross. One day, Amika is approached by the creator of Warcross. His name is Hideo Tanaka. He's obviously a billionaire, and Amika had accidentally hacked into Warcross, and this caught the attention of Hideo, so he decides to hire her to investigate a security breach in the game's systems. However, this leads Amika into a tailspin as she starts to uncover all of these sinister things about Warcross, as well as how it's related to Hideo, and her having knowledge of these things puts her life in danger. This is a YA duology sci-fi that I really enjoyed, and if you are someone that liked Ready Player One, then give this one a go. It's a lot of fun. Next, we have the genetic engineering trope. I'm going to go with Upgrade by Blake Crouch. This book takes place in the near future, the 2060s. We are following a man named Logan Ramsey who unknowingly receives a genetic upgrade. This non-consensual upgrade starts to alter Logan's ideas about genetic engineering in his world, as well as his views on life. He gets these abilities that normal people are not able to have. As Logan digs deeper into this upgrade, he starts to learn about a conspiracy that involves his very own mother and her work revolving around genetically engineering crops and the great catastrophe that happened because of that. This book is short, it has a thriller type feel to it, but also involves a lot of cool sci-fi elements. And if you're someone that likes the ethical issues surrounding genetic engineering, then this book would definitely speak to you. The next trope is First Contact. I'm going to go with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. In this book, we are following a main character named Rylan Grace, and one day he wakes up alone on a spaceship hurtling through space, and he has no memory of why he's there. He discovers that he has been sent on a mission to save Earth from this new organism that has been consuming all of the sun's energy. As he navigates his predicament, he comes into contact with an alien species that might be the only hope for not only his survival, but also Earth's survival. I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary. I actually enjoyed it more than The Martian, and I am super pumped for the movie adaptation that is supposed to come out in 2025. The fourth trope is the Lost in Space trope. I'm going to go with The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James. This is a YA sci-fi that has a little bit of a thriller element to it. In this book, we're following a main character named Rami, and she is traveling with her two parents on a spaceship away from Earth, and one day she wakes up to find out that her parents have tragically passed away, leaving her the only passenger on the Infinity, the spaceship. Romney is not entirely alone. She does have communication with some parts of Earth, mainly NASA, and one day she learns that NASA is sending a spaceship called the Eternity to intercept the Infinity. Romney starts to exchange messages between the commander of the Eternity, known as Jay, and when the ship finally arrives, Romney learns that there are some really odd, sinister things regarding the Eternity, regarding the mission that they have been sent on that may put Romney's life in danger. The next trope is bad aliens that want to eradicate the human race, and I had to go with The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu because that is essentially the whole goal of the Trisolarans. They have been spying on Earth, they have been manipulating humans, they have completely stopped any type of experiments in physics, they have sent weapons of mass destruction on their way from Trisolaris to Earth and really do not want to habitate the universe with us. The sixth sci-fi trope is a post-apocalyptic world. I'm going to go with Wool by Hugh Howey. In this book, we are following a world where humanity has been forced to live in these underground silos because of this war that went on the surface of Earth that rendered everything toxic and poisonous, the land, the air, everything. We follow a couple of different characters, mainly Juliet, as they go on a mission to discover whether what they've actually been told about the history of the silos, their current world, is true. I really enjoyed Wool. I thought it was a really interesting take on a post-apocalyptic world, and I really like how Hugh Howey was able to describe the way these characters were living underground and kind of the way humanity evolved living underground. It was just really well done, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. The next trope is humans who get superpowers, and I have to go with Vicious by V.E. Schwab. In this book, we are following two characters, Victor and Eli. They are best friends, they are college students, and they find out they can actually gain supernatural powers by near-death experiences. So they go through putting themselves at risk, almost dying, in order to gain supernatural abilities, and this is successful. But during one of their experiments, something goes horribly wrong, someone dies, and this lands Victor in prison for 10 years. So fast forward 10 years and Victor's out of prison. People have started getting superhuman abilities, but he is focused on finding his friend Eli because Eli has gone on this vendetta to eradicate every single person who now has superpowers, and Victor is looking to stop him. I actually loved Vicious. I really liked the near-death experiences that the characters had to go through in order to gain these powers, and I just loved the dynamic between Eli and Victor because they went from being best friends to being enemies, and I have flirted with the idea of rereading this series because it is a duology. The next trope is evil AI, and I'm going to change this a little bit because I'm just going to go with AI in general, and I'm going to recommend Mal Goes to War by Edward Ashton because in this book we are following the perspective of an AI, and he is kind of like looking at this world where humans are fighting one another, and at first he is entirely indifferent to the war of the humans because it doesn't really affect him, but AIs actually decide to start picking sides and getting involved in this war, which forces Mal to do the same, and he develops these relationships with these different humans as he is learning as a computer how to act and feel and reason like a human. This is one of those stories where we have an AI that is at first unable to be empathetic towards the human plight, but as he goes through human experiences becomes more human, especially because Mal is a self-learning AI. This is a really short book. It does have a lot of humor in it, and it's just a fun take on an AI story. The next trope is the mad scientist trope, one of my favorites, and I'm going to go with The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. In The Invisible Man, we are following a scientist known as Griffin, and he has figured out a way to become invisible through the use of light refraction. At first, he is very excited about his newfound ability, but over time realizes that his invisible condition can lead to bouts of loneliness and paranoia. As Griffin descends further and further into madness, he starts to realize that because of his invisibility, he can actually commit crimes and basically get away with it. And lastly, we have the parallel universe trope, and I'm going to have to go with Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. In Dark Matter, we are following Jason, a physics professor, and one day he is abducted and he wakes up in an alternate parallel universe. Jason embarks on a desperate journey to return to his own world, his own family, as well as figure out the reason behind who abducted him and why. This was my first novel by Blake Crouch, and I highly enjoyed it, and it got me into reading the majority of his books. I feel like most people at this point are familiar with Blake Crouch, but I think it's still a staple in the parallel universe sci-fi trope. Okay, you guys, those are 10 sci-fi book recommendations based on certain tropes. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!